pistols in the pasture, an A&R admin alert, and a sweet transvestite in Abu Dhabi? Welcome to the Unlimited Supply Podcast, your daily music business TLDR in your ear, powered by the karma of the New York Knicks, and brought to you by No Disc, helping music technology and finance companies navigate the music industry in partnership with Digital Music News. It's June 18th, 2026. I'm Lars Murray. It's Touring Thursday, but before we hit the road, is it tanks on the lawn or is it a pistol in the pasture? What the hell am I talking about? Well, Spotify has rolled out a beta for artists that will allow them to upload full-length video directly onto the platform. It would appear to put Spotify into a more direct competitive relationship with YouTube, which of course just rolled out a music program of its own that we talked about yesterday. It's also significant because it allows artists to bypass their labels and distributors and put their stuff up on Spotify, which was tried before with music and which presumably the labels and distributors crushed. There are a lot of reasons for Spotify to try to get into video and to become more accessible to creators. It's been trying to crack video for a while, and after all, it still has a rather large market cap to justify, and UGC video-driven platforms like YouTube and TikTok are crushing it. This could cut a little each way for artists, though. Of course, it gives them more control and autonomy and theoretically removes the middleman. On the other hand, one of the things that YouTube and TikTok and other UGC-driven platforms have in common is lower payouts per stream. TLDR, dedicated music services pay better because they have to negotiate with the majors and the large distributors. All that aside, though, over at Music Ally, Stuart Dredge characterized this as a tanks on the lawn moment for Spotify, the tank being Spotify and the lawn being YouTube. But it's a little difficult for me to imagine that Spotify is close enough to YouTube's size and scale to accelerate full speed into their living room and destroy the house. Given the scale of YouTube and its universal non-music offerings, Spotify looks more like a pistol in the pasture than a tank on the lawn. If you want to challenge me on that dubious assertion, hit me up. Major label A&R admin departments just received a breath of fresh relevance. Why is that? Well, the Grammys have shuffled the deck once again. This year they've added 5 new categories, and it's generally the A&R admin folks who deal with this stuff. They've lowered the newness bar on Best New Artists yet again, let the jockeying for positions in new categories like Best Asian Pop Music Performance begin, and let the genre reclassification of certain artists begin alongside it, including the awkward phone calls wherein labels try to convince their artists that they are something and managers do the same in reverse, all without making the artists feel pigeonholed. I mean, is Lisa's World Cup song Goals Asian pop? I'm not going to try and answer that, and I'm glad that's not my job. Always good to keep things a little spicy in Grammyland, and for those of you who argue that Grammy dilution is a problem, talk to a music marketer and they'll set you straight. Not to mention that little thing called ego. Industry ego appetites are both insatiable and undefeated. Paul Grein had the story over at Billboard. Okay, let's hit the road along with the Knicks, who hit the street today. Is it just me, or is it a little tardy to be planning 4th of July celebrations for the nation's 250th birthday? I mean, we're a couple of weeks out, and even my elopement at the Brooklyn Municipal Building was planned farther in advance than some of these events. Actually, I'm sure Macy's has been working on their USA 250th 4th of July fireworks show for a while now, and unlike the President's collapsed 4th of July concert, Macy's has a roster of mostly A-listers signed up, including Post Malone, Blake Shelton, Salt and Peppa, Noah Kahan, BB Rexha, and Shabuzi. That's the New York celebration. Out in L.A., the L.A. for America block party will feature Chris Stapleton, Smashing Pumpkins, and Queen Latifah. I'll let you assign the A, B's, and C's of alphabet lists. Nonetheless, it's a good bet that all of these artists are not going to pull out at the last minute. And James Dolan, the head of Madison Square Garden and Sphere Entertainment, is having a pretty good week. On the MSG side, well, the Knicks. On the Sphere side, on the heels of having his bacon saved by, of all things, The Wizard of Oz, Sphere is doubling down on that movie strategy with the Rocky Horror Picture Show. To fans of a certain age, that would be mine, this seems like a masterstroke. After all, Rocky Horror is the movie that invented audience participation and engagement, and now it's going into the most interactive space in live entertainment. The big question mark is, will Rocky Horror prove to be as universal as the Wizard of Oz? I'm going to assume not, at the same time as San Francisco Giants pitchers can't even put rainbow hats on, but it may be the thing that finally drags me to the sphere. Get it? Drags me? Sorry about that. I also wonder how numbers like Sweet Transvestite and I Can Make You a Man will go over at the Sphere in Abu Dhabi. Well, I guess they have until 2029 to figure that one out. J.R. Lind had the story over at Polestar. Every Thursday, we spend an inordinate amount of time scanning the listings, sifting for nuggets, and helplessly hoping that one day Claude will be able to do this heavy lifting for us. Yes, by brute force, we assemble and discuss the artists dominating their markets, a few artists who might be punching above their weight, and a few, you might be surprised, still have tickets available in the U.S. music capitals, New York, L.A., and Nashville. We call it the Who Sells Out. In NYC, Kim Gordon is a sellout at Nightclub 101 tonight. Young the Giant with Cold War Kids opening. How about that? And Almost Monday are at the Rooftop at Pier 17 tonight also. Not a sellout. Goose hits Madison Square Garden, another win for James Dolan, tomorrow and Saturday. Those are both sold out, and Amazon is doing a live stream as well. Coming off some serious positive Coachella 2025 vibes, Catriel and Paco Amoroso are at Radio City Music Hall on Friday for their Free Spirits World Tour. Still plenty of good seats down in front, and that's the best way to be at Radio City. Wilco and Yola Tango are playing Forest Hills Stadium on Saturday night. Still some tickets in the upper tiers for that. On Monday, Karin Leon hits Madison Square Garden. Still a bunch of tickets for that. The next night, it's Bleachers at MSG, with special guest Wednesday adding some coolness to the proceedings. Still tickets available for that. Also on Tuesday, the most puzzling non-sellout of the week is Of Montreal at Webster Hall. Wow. And even though Wolf Mother's Joker and the Thief plays to sold-out arenas all over North America every time there's a face-off in the NHL, they are still not sold out at Brooklyn Steel, also on Tuesday. In LA, the major show this week is Ariana Grande's Eternal Sunshine Tour, wrapping up tonight and tomorrow. Sold out on primary, and resales are starting at $500 plus in the nosebleeds. Chance the Rapper's playing the Hollywood Bowl also tonight. It's a special Juneteenth event with special guest DJ D-Nice and a gospel choir, not sold out yet. Also plenty available on Friday for Parker McCollum at the Greek, while not as many available at the Greek for Khalid next Wednesday. Almost a sellout there. Summer Walker is practically sold out next Thursday at Crypto.com. We still call it Staples Center. In Nashville, here's a nice piece of trivia. Who played MSG the night the Knicks won it all? Well, that would be 5 Seconds of Summer. They're at Bridgestone Arena tonight. Still plenty of tickets available in all sections. Over at Geodis Park, Forrest Frank, the Jesus Generation Tour, is a sellout with Tori Kelly. I guess she's a Christian artist now. We knew her when. The lineup is so clean that it squeaks. On the other hand, Nashville punk connoisseurs will be happy to know that Diarrhea Planet are playing 3 shows this week. They'll be unhappy to know that they are sellouts Saturday at the Marathon and Sunday at the East Side Bowl. That one is so dirty, it smears. Joe Jackson will be playing the Ryman on Wednesday the 24th. There was a time when I would have flown to Nashville for that, but no more. And I guess a lot of people feel the same way. Still plenty of tickets for that. And if you've been waiting for Sarah Shook and the Disarmers to reconvene and tour again, well, you may be disappointed, but you can see River Shook, that's Sarah's new name, at Cannery Hall next Wednesday. Still tickets available for that. And that's another Touring Thursday. Support for Unlimited Supply is provided by you, our listeners. You can go buy a hat, buy a merit badge, or just buy us a cup of coffee over at unlimitedsupplypod.com, and we appreciate every little bit of support. If you like what you hear, please hit that follow button wherever you get your pods. I live for your praise and encouragement in person, but it helps a lot more if you drop us a rating and or a review on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Spotify, and tell a friend or 3. Links are in the show notes, but you can also visit unlimitedsupplypod.com to sign up for our newsletter, to tell us what you think about the show, to suggest feature ideas, including Axe Grinder segments, to feed us info, to feed us lunch, to call us out on our dubious assertions, and to tell us what we're missing out on. I'm Lars Murray, and remember, in this business, no conflict means no interest. We're off tomorrow for the Juneteenth holiday. Celebrate appropriately.